to Creative Mornings and welcome to our topic in May, which is revival. It was chosen by our chapter in Fort Worth in Texas. And I mean, there are a lot of revivals these days. College Jackets have a revival. Even Thomas Gottschalk tried it with a revival. But today we're actually going to talk about a good one, the revival of this beautiful ship. The illustration you see here was done by Mariela Guzman. And if you want to check out her work, you just hop on our Instagram profile, and then we linked her work there. And you can also check out what she's doing other than the Creative Mornings illustration. You may know our global partner, which is Adobe. Who of you is working with Adobe, at least sometimes? Okay, so if you're not working with Adobe yet, or if you want some more support, Adobe actually offers a lot of online courses and workshops. And if you're interested in that one, also hop on our profile because we linked it there as well. So you can check out what Adobe, in collaboration with Creative Mornings, is offering you. Exactly, that's that. Now we have a little bag because we always, like, the team is always trying to improve our footprint in terms of sustainability, and we have a lot of amazing sponsors, which is usually Coffee Bee and Kult and Lilac is supporting us a lot. But for some stuff, we actually pay by ourselves. So if you need a little bit of milk in your coffee in the morning or a little bit of sugar, usually the team takes some money out of their own pocket and buys that. So if you want to support us with that, there is a jar on the breakfast table. Would be great if you put in something. You don't have to, but if you do, you're a rock star. And basically what we also thought, because we don't like these paper cups, we end up after every Creative Mornings with a huge pile of paper cups. And usually we post, bring your own mug. I have to admit, I also forget it always. That's why we thought maybe you have some old cups sitting somewhere in a cupboard. And maybe you want to give this a revival as well. So if you have a cup at home and you want to get rid of, that's your chance. So from next month onwards, we're going to start collecting mugs. So you can bring your mug and then you can revisit it every time you come to a Creative Morning. So that way we could save a bit paper cups, save our environment, and yeah, you could help us a bit to make this a better world. Thank you. That being said, we would like to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, especially in the upper line, which is today GANNET, the whole team, which is pretty amazing. Coffee Bee, which they also always support us with sustainable coffee, which is amazing. London Tea, Stellberg. Stellberg is always a place where we can go and meet, and if we don't find a location, we still have a place to go. And also Leilager, they support us with equipment, so if you're in need of something and you don't want to buy it, hop over to Leilager. The guys are amazing, doing a great job. That being said, that's the team. I want to give a huge shout out to our event volunteers, which is Samir today at the coffee machine. Not here today is Cynthia and Annie, but they are always there when we need a helping hand. And so please give a round of applause to Samir and his support on the coffee machine. And before we dig now into the topic of today, I want to give another shout out to someone who has a lot of revivals at Creative Mornings, which is Graham, because it's his 60th Creative Morning today. So give a round of applause to Graham. Amazing, thank you for your attendance all the time. And your gold member, exactly. And now, Dirk, get ready, because we're going to have a 30-second pitch of one of our team members. So I'm going to hand over the microphone in a second to Dirk.
In a second or now?
Now. You ready?
No. So.
You have to hold the mic pretty close.
I know.
Okay?
Okay.
On 1, 2, 3, you can start.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Ja, guten Morgen alle zusammen. Ich war letztes Jahr zum ersten Mal in Pakistan und das Land hat mich so beeindruckt. dass ich mich entschlossen habe, Fototouren nach Pakistan zu organisieren. Und ich habe im Herbst noch 2 Slots. Im September 2 Wochen und im Oktober 2 Wochen. Und der September-Slot hat noch ein paar freie Plätze. So, wer Zeit und Lust hat auf ein kleines Abenteuer mit mir, der ist bei mir an der richtigen Stelle. Es ist ein unglaubliches Land, beeindruckt mit schönen Landschaften. Die Mentalität der Leute ist unglaublich herzlich und ich kann es nur empfehlen und ans Herz legen. Es ist ein richtiges Abenteuer. Raw, laut, heiß, staubig, alles, was man im Abenteuer will. So, wenn jemand Zeit und Lust hat, ist er dabei.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So, without any further ado, I would like to introduce you now to our today's speaker. When we discussed the topics of this year, and yes, that means we already know what's coming up for the whole year, and we talked about revival, I immediately thought about GANNET. Because for me, this is really like a light, our example of reuse and revival. And actually, it's a place I really enjoy. And if you haven't been here yet to enjoy a beautiful drink in the evening on this deck or concert down in the club, I really highly recommend to do so because it's a fantastic place. And yeah, I reached out to Katja and she was immediately on board, which I totally loved. And we met, and afterwards I told a friend, wow, she's such a power woman and this is just such an amazing project I would really love to be part of because I was so impressed. And now I really have to look on my cards because what she does is a lot. So she's a radio journalist, a presenter, a nurse, a shiatsu therapist, a communications consultant, and of course part of this amazing project that brought Basel an amazing and beautiful spot that we can enjoy all together. So please welcome on stage, Katja.
Thank you very much, Daniela. Thank you so much in advance for coming out this morning because it's really on the other side of the town. And we decided to hold this speech in English. I hope for everybody this is okay. For me, it's not my mother tongue, so I'm giving my best to be comprehensible. And in case I'm lacking a word in English, I'm asking, where is she? Well, some about grammar I could ask anyway. I'm sorry for that. There you are. So, yeah, welcome on GANNET. Revival, yes, it's not only the ship I'll be talking about in a second. We revived and made an incredible revival to this ancient industrial site. Now, people sitting in... No, hold on, sorry. You're too far away. Just picture... The ground was empty when we arrived here. So 11 years ago, we arrived on an ancient industrial site. Everything was taken away. There were huge oil tanks on it, like these, on this site. And we arrived, we were given this space by the city. I just prepared some words for you. The rest I will show you in pictures or with my words. So we were given... as landlords, kind of, because the owners is the city itself. 2,500 square meters to use as a cultural temporary occupation or whatever we wanted to. So we were just 3 persons in the beginning, and we were told you can use this site for cultural use, but just 5 years. And we were thinking, wow, what are we going to make out of this huge space? It was quite an adventure. I will talk about the different moments we lived, but it was like a white sheet to sit on and think. And we started, as I said, 3 persons in the beginning. We're 85 people now running this whole little quarter of the city of Basel. The only thing we were clear was we want people to participate and not to build new stuff here, because first of all, we were given 5 years. Doesn't make sense to create and build new buildings. It would not have made sense. So the only thing was, let's grow slowly, organically, and let's reuse and let's revive this space, because we were giving it. That was the thing, and we didn't want to have double, like 2 mojito bars, for example, or 2 workshops doing ceramic works, for example. We wanted a diversity right from the start. Well, yes, and we were given the 5 years in the beginning, and as you can tell, we're in 25 now, and it was always prolonged and prolonged again, and now, normally, we should leave in 2029. But we were said by the city already, we're not sure yet, so go ahead and enjoy yourself, but still think about the ship. It should go away as well when it's ended. That's another subject or topic I'll talk about later. So I just wrote down, let's reuse, revive, and recreate. And that's what happened. I mean, picture again an empty space, and now it's like a little village. We started really slowly, I told you, and one of the first projects was the gardening project, because they said it's empty. There's just stone and sand on the ground. No water, no electricity, no plants, no buildings. It was really empty space. And we were so happy that a bunch of people just introduced themselves to us, the 3 persons, and said, we would like to join this project and bring plants and green and taking care of this part of a new quarter maybe. And there were really I think it was the 2nd or 3rd project asking if they could join the whole thing. And you can tell there's a lot of green by now. And this is like a Thanksgiving preparing moment. I'm sorry you can't see it, but we always do Thanksgiving when you do Thanksgiving, but because there's so many vegetable, fruit, and everything growing, because we were thinking, why not plant trees, fruit trees, and we have eggplants, and we have salad, we have artichokes, we have figs, we have so many, and we have quitten. I don't know how you say that in quince. Thank you. I'm sorry, Graham. So we do have a lot of things. So always the Thanksgiving moments hosted by the gardening projects, and they're still on the ground. They're still taking care, because you can imagine in summer it's getting really hot. You have to water all the plants, and everything's really taken care of. I was mentioning the difficult moments, because in the beginning it was really hard. We were giving several messages when we started here as 3 persons. Fuck you is written on a little lorry, or on trailer, exactly. And these messages were coming from our neighbors, because the squatters were on the ground already when we arrived. And that was really a difficult moment to start as neighbors, and we just wanted to be neighbors, and they saw us as gentrificators, as the longer arm of the police and the city, and especially they saw us as capitalists. And we absolutely understood the fear of gentrification, because we're against a fast gentrification as well. By the way, I'm an ancient squatter as well, so I know what the philosophy and the attitude is. But I realized that participating in a transformation in cities is much more worth than just fighting against everything and destroying even, I mean, that was pretty hard. Fuck you, I was spit in a city by one of the squatters as well, so it was really tough. And my husband, Tom, and I, and a friend of us who is an architect, we needed really to have a thick skin in the first 1.5, 2 years. Because, as I told you, we're 3 persons, gardening project was coming, so it was going really slowly all over. But we saw they were not capitalists. We're doing this voluntarily, or been doing this since 11 years already. So there's no way of thinking that way. So anyway, we went on. Right here, where GANNET now is sitting, we built a huge stage with pallets, wooden pallets, you can see. And there were dancing sessions happening. In the background, you can see the construction site of the fondue restaurant. right behind there. So that was one of the key moments, to have a stage, being able to have concerts and dancing lessons, and it was really beautiful to have finally a stage where we could do culture as well. But you can imagine the neighbors were slightly irritated by the sound coming suddenly, instead of the tanks who were just, like standing here. And now a lot of different noise. We don't call it noise, but it was the concerts, theater, as you can see, this dancing lessons. So it was starting to get busy, but in another way. And as we're sitting here, you guys can see that's a breakfast moment here on the ground over there, because one of the first bars was the Pacific bar. Coming back to the difficult moments, we started with a bar right on the other end of the site, because the squatted area is still here, and they're still our neighbors. And we wanted to symbolically make a sign, kind of, hey, we're coming in peace. And Pacific comes from Pace, Pacific, peace, Pacific. So the Romansh part in Switzerland said, it's so Pacific here. It means it's so peaceful here. So we called this bar Pacific, like with a white flag. We started there. And then the stage, and then the construction sites, and as I told you already, it's so many things going on here over all these 11 years. So we had a breakfast moment, and you can see that things were really growing slowly. If you come closer afterwards, you can check the pictures as well. There was so few things only, just little things starting. And the breakfast was really becoming a very special thing here, and that's why it's making sense as well. Where is Daniela? That you with the Creative Morning are here now. So breakfast is nothing about reviving or reusing, but it has become something very special. And I bet none of you has been here before in the morning. It's a very precious moment here. So it's really breakfast here. And we put a flyer on the tables as well for the next breakfast, which is going to happen down here in this very cute little project hosted by Freya. She's sitting here as well. So remember that. Breakfast is a very special moment, and mornings in general. If you just want to come and read and have a silent and peaceful moment, come here in the morning. There's nothing happening. Compared to what is happening for the rest of the year. In the evenings, it's really busy now. Everything is open, is joyful. We have a lot of concerts. We have several bars being opened. And every single project is really a revival of material. Makes sense. I don't have to mention why it makes sense to revive and recycle. We even call our whole space second-hand space, kind of. It's even a third-hand space. So, it's really lively. But I mentioned the neighbors who kind of got disturbed by all the noise. We had a lot of police coming and stopping our concerts, even in the afternoons. It was really difficult in the beginning. And we were really thinking about, wow, we were given this site by the city to run a cultural project. But if you can't do concerts and theater, and we had to do everything outside and outdoor, we were thinking about how could we get a space to host and have a stage and host all these cultural projects without disturbing the neighbors. So it was described in the announcement for today as well. It was a beer idea, to be honest, because my husband and two friends of his were sitting with a beer over there at the bar, and there was a ship, Havari. So yeah, and they were thinking, why don't we take this out and put it in the ground? And it was like, yeah, sure, it doesn't work. And of course, we could not buy a destroyed kind of a sunk ship. So this idea was set. It was a beer idea. And then we were first of all thinking about constructing something, but then we always had the idea then, but we needed new material, and we didn't want to have new material. We really absolutely wanted to have something which has had a life before. So this beer idea came up again. My husband visited two ship cemeteries in Denmark, and he didn't find a perfect ship. And he did this kind of hidden, because he always knew, I thought this was a crazy idea, this would never work, because he wanted to have a stage and a cultural space which was high enough, and I was thinking the Rhine is not deep enough for bringing up a ship like from the sea. But yeah, he did it all secretly, kind of, and was given a tip to visit a homepage where ships with who were in public service before, so Occasionen, huh? Ancient stuff, and he was going through 2 nights. He was surfing on the side, and one morning he came and said, "Katja, I think I found a very beautiful ship," and it was GANNET. And I saw it, and I said, "Yeah, forget it. There's a tower. I mean, it's not possible. It's far too deep because it was anchored 60 years between Northern Ireland and Scotland. So there's not even an engine, so it's not working. It can't drive itself up or herself. Ships are female in the English language, so which is a beautiful anecdote as well, I think, because she's really beautiful, isn't she?" Well, anyway, I said it's not possible. I didn't want to think further because it was like not realistic. But he said, let's give her another life. And she's perfect, and we're radio people as well. And he pictured having a radio station in a tower, and I was like, yeah. Then he gathered again with his 2 friends who had this beer idea, and they said, why don't we go to Rochester? This is in Kent, southern England, and visit her and see how she's doing. And I said, yeah. And I thought, yeah, let's do it, because then they will see that it's not possible. I was wrong. Of course I was wrong, and it's so good. I was wrong anyway. We fell in love immediately with this beautiful lightship. And by the way, it was a light tower in the sea. So in the northern seas, it was always necessary to have light towers swimming with the tides. So made sense, and then we fell in love, and then many other questions like, how is this going to be possible? We have to cut the tower. Maybe we'll just hit the ground when it's going to be towed up the Rhine. But yeah, visionary and very intense person, and if he has something in mind, he fascinated everybody by this idea. Even all the the everybody was like, wow, we want to be part of this project. So we GANNET was towed over the channel. We bought it. We towed it over the channel to Rotterdam. We had to cut the tower. We had to put it inside the ship to travel with the ship, but not being too high for the bridges and the how is it called? Brücke und Stauwehr und Schleuse. Locks. A lock, thank you. So GANNET was traveling with its own tower inside her belly and standing. You will see it later. And it was towed after 3 months because we started to empty GANNET, because there were so many little rooms and just small stairs. And we worked 3 months in Rotterdam. We went back and forth and spent 2 weeks and then came back here because we had jobs to fulfill and everything. And then after 3 months, we were said, now we have to leave. Why? Because the level of the Rhine now is perfect. We can't tell you if it's going to be possible afterwards. So we really had to leave. And we said, yeah, but we wanted to put 4 points on the ship to make it lift by the crane and everything. And said, yeah, you have to do it in Basel. Now you have to leave. And they were absolutely right, because there was just 1 week, one single week in 2019 where it was possible to tow her up with a container ship. And that's the picture. So GANNET being towed on the side of a huge container ship. I mean, GANNET is 42 meters long, and it seemed like a little rusty Büchse, really. It was well, you can see on the left hand the container ship and GANNET just side on side. We traveled with her. We were sitting on GANNET, and on the container ship we traveled along the river with a caravan. So we really traveled with her to Basel. she was here, and then the work started. I mean, you can imagine how much work that meant, because it was rusty, it was really old. GANNET was built in 1954. So you could not use, even here on deck, this is the ancient helipad, by the way. The ground, everything was rusty and like shaky as well, kind of. We started with our work. We started with our work. It was a lot of work, I can tell. You will see some more pictures afterwards. And then this incredible day, the 6th of August 2019 came, because we put the 4 points inside GANNET. She was still in the water. We put a huge crane on the street. You will see how huge it was. And we hoped that this crane is able to lift GANNET in the bed we prepared for her. Because the crane would have been able to lift 1,000 tons. We knew GANNET is around 550 to 600 tons. But the crane never lifted that much before. So it was like, what a challenge. They even had a trial lift the day before, and it worked. Then everybody was fine. No, of course, it was a professional enterprise who did that, but still, we didn't know if it's really working. And you will see, it was really tricky. But then, the day came, 6th of August 2019, and GANNET started flying. And we knew it's going to last 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, maybe you put yourself here, and some of you know the pictures and maybe the movie as well. But it's really incredible seeing these 600 tons flying on a crane. It was like spooky and very special, and that's why we would like to show you the whole lift in a little movie. No, not yet. Yes. No. Is it loud enough? It's in Swiss German. If anybody wants to have more information, I will translate.
Ganz genau war der 6. September, als ich das allererste Mal ein Bild von der GANNET gesehen habe. Was alles passiert ist in dieser Zeit, das ist so überwältigend, das ist fast nicht erklärbar. Zuerst ungläubig, nein, das Schiff kriegen wir nie hierhin. Das ist in England, das muss dann über Rotterdam, der Reederhof kommen. Das war etwas, was ich mir gar nie vorstellen konnte. Das ist, glaube ich, etwas, was man einmal im Leben erlebt.
You can see the tower standing in the ship. It's cut, it's not on it. You can see the bed now.
Also die GANNET ist natürlich ein wunderschönes Schiff. Und nicht zuletzt hat es noch meinen Jahrgang. Es ist der Jahrgang 1954. Das hat mich natürlich besonders gefreut. Letztendlich haben wir das Manöver mit dem wilden Mann machen. Das war noch relativ diffizil. Wir haben die GANNET an den Wildmann hergekoppelt und haben dann letztendlich das Schiff hier aussen auf den Pfählen festbinden.
Ja, nach der langen Reise, wo wir den Leuchtturm haben müssen abschneiden, dass wir überhaupt unter den Druck durchkommen, das war wirklich crazy zu sehen. Der Leuchtturm, fast schon raketenähnlich, von diesem riesen Kran, minutiös und millimetergenau aus dem Loch rausgehoben worden ist. Mit Angstschweiß auf der Stirn schaffen wir das.
Flying Tower?
Durch das Loch durch. Das war ein crazy Moment. Jetzt ist er wieder da, wo er hingehört. Festgelötet, festgeschweißt und ready für Sturm und Gewitter und Musik.
Der spannendste Moment war für mich natürlich, wo GANNET die ersten 50 cm aus dem Wasser gezogen worden ist. Erstens hat man noch nie so ein schweres Gewicht gehoben, europaweit, mit diesen 600 Tonnen. Und ich war ganz nah bei der GANNET und habe gehört, ob es irgendjemand kroset, giert oder knackt. Oder ich habe gedacht, irgendwie muss man das hören, aber es war ganz spannend. Es hat keinen einzigen Ton von sich gegeben, als wären die Polder, die wir extra angeschweißt haben, als wären die schon immer dran gewesen und gehört zu diesem Schiff. Extrem eindrücklich gewesen, vor allem wie das Kranunternehmen geschafft haben. Es war keiner nervös, es hat keinen nervösen Funkspruch durchgegeben. Als du warst, war ich ein Teil von der GANNET oder vom Kran, Kranführer. Ich war sehr konzentriert mit dabei gewesen.
Wo dann GANNET in der Erde gesessen ist, auf dem Bettchen, das wir für sie vorbereitet haben, das sind unbeschreibliche Emotionen und auch Freude und gar nicht vielleicht bis zu einem gewissen Grad realisieren, was wir jetzt hier alles gemacht haben.
Mit dem Stranden wie wir es nennen, vom GANNETli, geht wirklich ein jahrelanger Wunsch in Erfüllung, nämlich, dass wir endlich Konzerte lärmgeschützt veranstalten können. Und was gibt es für einen schöneren Raum als in einem Bug von so einer alten roten Dame? Bei uns steht noch viel Arbeit bevor wir dem Ganzen ein schönes Interieur verpassen. Und noch mehr freue ich mich auf das, wenn wirklich die ersten Konzerte in diesem Bug stattfinden. Für Musikbegeisterte, Kulturbegeisterte und Abend zu verbringen. Auf das freue ich mich. Das wäre cool.
Well, yes, that was it. So, well, I already mentioned the work only started by then, kind of, because we worked already 3 months on GANNET, but then the work went on, and it was really hard too. It was really hard stuff. It was the start of COVID, because we started only working by the end of 19. Like really working, and for us COVID was kind of a lucky moment anyway, still, because there were so many people, like workers of the Theater Basel, for example. They helped us because they were paid, they had salaries, but they had a lot of time, so they wanted to participate. The core crew, we were 4. And the maximum of staff, we were 200 people working on it. And everybody was working voluntarily, freiwillig, voluntarily, thank you. Just 2 persons who really had to do the wooden work and everything. So we reused everything which was inside GANNET, and we put it away. Like, for example, the pissoir, where the ancient fire extinctors, the tables in the restaurant. There's a restaurant, you can go and have a look afterwards and see whatever material has been reused. The restaurant tables, they're the ancient cabin beds and cupboards and everything. The doors of the toilets are the cabin crew rooms. So you will find a lot of things who have been reused, and we even got a certificate for this cradle to cradle. Yeah. So thank you. Cradle to cradle work, because it was really beautiful to use everything which was on the ship. There was so much material, and we already knew when we were in Rotterdam what we were going to keep for tables, for example, and for the rest of the furniture we could. This has not been, your chairs and tables have not been, of course, at GANNET. But okay, the work started. You can see the groundwork in the belly of the ship, because there was not an even floor through the whole belly. So we had to build this floor inside. So everything was away, and the ship was empty, but then we had to refurniture for the stage example. Yeah, that's Tom. He had to learn quite a bit of what has to be done when you're emptying and rebuilding a ship and reusing a ship. Schweissen, I don't know how you welding. Oh, I have a double translation. You can see GANNET from over there, but still under construction. And a lot of other things are going on now. Around GANNET, of course, because we opened GANNET as a restaurant, a cultural space in July 21. So everybody who was really good in knowing how it is to work on a ship and with this thick steel and everything said, yeah, it would last at least 3 years. But we made it because of so many people being available to help us in not even 2 years. And we were really glad we could open because it was a hard time. Nobody knew what COVID is going to bring and are we going to be able to be open ever? Nobody knew what's happening. And then we had to reclose, of course, again, but things around our GANNET were going on, like this Brocante is one of the projects, the gardeners again in action. And Daniela mentioned the rooftop as a restaurant and the club, but there's really a lovely restaurant which is open the whole year, right under us. So that's an insight, mood, inspiration of the restaurant running through winter times as well. So you can visit GANNET the whole year, which is really important. I think concerts are happening from fall to spring, until spring. And the restaurant, of course, is always open. But people are not aware of that kind of. They just come to see or join theater shows or concerts, but they forget about how lovely this space, because inside this restaurant you really have the ship feeling. Outside it's nice because it feels like sitting on the sea and having the sunset, of course, but I just wanted to mention that because it's really lovely inside as well, with an oven and really good food. Yeah, and I mentioned the concerts already. There's a lot of concerts going on. We have a lovely crew who is doing the program throughout. We have classical music, we have contemporary stuff, we have dance, theater. So many parties, of course, not so many, because we really want to have to focus on live music. And you can tell that this is a huge band. And we have a huge stage as well. And I invite you to go and have a look. If you go down the toilet, just there, going down the stairs further on, and then you will just stand in the concert space and go and have a look at the restaurant too. Well, yes, that's GANNET and the revival of it, and I'm glad you're here and being part of this revival kind of, and I'm hoping you're coming back. Thank you.